It's December. The, yes, it is.
What song is
It's
that?
technically not, but it is. I don't know. I was just listening to a pop punk version of Like a Prayer by Madonna, so it could be
Oh,
anything.
I see.
However,
welcome to Advent, everyone. Who's got their Advent calendars already? Not me.
I do. I actually do.
Can I see it?
Oh, it's not really a very interesting one, but there we go.
Oh,
Here's
I
the
love a
Advent calendar.
oh,
Maltesers one. That's given me an idea. I'm gonna do that
It's
one.
so I didn't
Oh, it's
actually
a
pick it. My mom was just
truffles
like,
one.
yeah, my mom was
Oh,
just like, have this. There you go.
beautiful.
Yeah. My gran used to get us them every year. Now she's decided we're all too old. So
oh, advent calendars, the joys.
Wow,
the
the
joys of
joys.
Advent calendar.
One of my flatmates had one for November.
Why not?
I was like, sure, okay, fair enough.
Why like buy yourself a bar of chocolate each day if you like
Exactly.
chocolate or whatever?
Yeah. I
I
thought
don't
that'd be
know.
quite expensive though, but I don't.
That could be quite expensive.
Anyway,
Yeah, so as Emily very rightly so pointed out before we started recording, it's been a year since we've been doing this. I mean, we started doing like the tests around this time last year. Um and I still don't know because obviously it's not published, so I don't know what I spoke about in the test.
wait,
Um
I can find out for you. Wait, I can find out. I can find
it's on the Google somewhere.
the Google form.
Yeah, I'm just lazy. But yeah, it's really weird because it's like it feels like we've been doing this for 5 minutes, but also it feels like we've been doing this for much longer than a year.
I know what you did.
Yeah.
You did cameraman.
Cameraman, yes, the Jack.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, I remember that now.
back to me now.
Yeah. Maybe you should release that as like a special,
Ooh, a bonus
anniversary.
episode at the
Yeah, the
Oh,
end.
unreleased pilot of Frame by Frame.
oh, I'm sure it was something like 25 minutes as well.
Exclusive, never before seen footage. It was when we were so rusty. We just started out and we just didn't really know how to do it. And
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
lot more editing in I think in that one than
yeah.
than
Yeah,
the later ones.
probably very robotic, like because of the editing and because we were
Mm.
very
We were
structured.
like, question number one, answer number one. We just
Yeah.
weren't really having a conversation.
Oh,
And now we've mastered it. Now we're master
Yeah.
podcasters. No one would complain about anything
no, I
on the
mean,
Podcasters
podcast.
of the year 2024, I'm telling you.
there's an award for that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do have the podcast awards. That's the thing.
Well,
Mate, I think we
Nominate us,
get
okay.
guys.
get a few nominations.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wink, wink.
Definitely the best film podcast in Saffron Walden. Well, that's all I'm saying.
I no, I agree. I might even go as far as saying in Northwest Essex.
Oh,
Whoa.
oh,
I
Whoa.
know,
That now
right?
that's a
oh my
claim.
God. Got some stiff competition. So
I know. Anyway, yes. So December. First of all, in the first weekend of Paddington, so we had Paddington on release before we get to December, which was 8th of November. That weekend, I'm pretty sure every single screening was sold out. Possibly with the exception of Monday. Uh, I believe we took over £1,600 in refreshments just that first week, which is crazy, but I can kind of understand it because people just kept eating popcorn and like Haribo and they still are. And we like last weekend we were still having sellouts of Paddington and like last weekend was like what the 22nd, 23rd of November.
Yeah.
Um and like Paddington this weekend has like they're half full. I think they'll easily be three-quarters full if not sold out by the time they come around. Um so they keep coming and small things like these that was sold out on Monday.
yeah,
Sure it was like half full on the
yeah.
Saturday.
I think it was like 140, 50 that were in the
Yeah,
first
Wow.
time it was on. It was crazy.
yeah. It
So
was
good
just
work, Emily. It was all because they all listened to this podcast and they
What
heard
can I
the
exactly.
say?
great preview. Yeah.
They all
What
came
can
out
I
and were
say,
like, thanks,
guys?
Emily.
Yeah.
But it's been great. And like I know it's not like this all year round. But these numbers do kind of make up for a couple of months where it's quieter. So does the refreshments. Because
Mm.
unfortunately the ticket sales, we have to give a big percentage away to distributors, and all that jazz. So we really make our money on refreshments, and I have literally just been into the cinema this evening and unloaded a huge pallet load of popcorn because we ran out. And I didn't know they delivered on pallets. And I was like,
Yeah.
what do I do with the pallet now? Um, so it's all been happening.
So thank you.
Sorry?
Thank you everyone for
Yes.
supporting us.
Yeah. And keep buying more popcorn, even though it makes my job way harder.
Yeah.
Keep still do it. Like,
Yes.
because cleaning up after those Paddington, yeah, it's fun when they're on, but afterwards when we're all cleaning up, it's not. But still buy it. Still buy the
Yeah.
popcorn.
I think buy it just so that Zach can get a workout out of it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to the
Yeah.
gym enough anyway, so I probably need it.
Oh no, just keep it in your mouth or in the box. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Yeah, that would probably be the best solution.
yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be perfect. But hopefully, because we've got a couple of other good ones coming up. So Paddington, we've still got a couple up near Christmas time. But we've also got Moana 2 and Wicked coming, which we will get onto a bit later. But
Mm.
it could very well continue.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think this is a really strong month for Saffron Screen, like the program. I mean, obviously we'll get into and talk about this film specifically, but
Yeah,
like it is literally, I think I went through it with my mum the other day and I was literally like, I want to see every film that is on in
yeah,
December at Saffron Screen. So I think it's going to be a really strong month for us, which is, yeah, it will be really good if we can continue the trend of
yeah.
Paddington in Peru, which I'm still yet to see actually, despite
Me
having
neither.
worked it so
I
many
yeah.
times.
It's all I'm gonna say is I think I possibly said it quickly in the podcast last month. Olivia Colman as a nun singing
Mhm.
about Paddington in Peru with a guitar. Uh, Perfect. I would give an Oscar just on that performance. Um, yeah.
I heard that song like through the doors into the cinema like
Oh
many
yeah.
times, but I'm yet to actually watch it. So
It is so yeah, we've got a good month ahead of us for December. Um, and I think for the past like 2 months I've had Defying Gravity stuck in my head. So I need to get the earworm out my ear and watch it as soon as possible. But I'm very excited to hear what Emily thought of it this afternoon. So go for it.
Okay. So I mean, contrary to my reputation as a theatre kid, I actually never got into Wicked. Like it was one of the musicals that I never really got into. I was kind of more of a Matilda, Heathers, I don't know, West Side Story kind of person. I just never really got into Wicked. I don't know why. Um, it just never happened. Obviously, I know Defying Gravity. Everyone knows Defying Gravity. Um, but Wicked on screen is brilliant. It's just like it's like so overly theatrical, but kind of so funny as well. It was really good. So obviously we all know it's the on-screen adaptation of the musical that kind of loosely follows the characters of The Wizard of Oz, but obviously The Wizard of Oz is was made decades before the musical even was written, so it's very loosely based. Um, the movie starts where we kind of leave The Wizard of Oz sort of halfway through, where the Wicked Witch of the West is dead. And Glinda visits Munchkinland and she tells the story of how her and Elphaba, who is the Wicked Witch of the West, were roommates and then friends, um, all whilst they were going through school. The musical is split into two parts. Part one, which is just been released, and part two, which is going to be released, I believe, November 21st next year,
Ooh.
which is kind of exactly a year from when it was released this year.
mm,
Part one just kind of follows. their entire history, meeting and becoming friends, and then what kind of led to Elphaba's her sort of becoming the Wicked Witch of the West. I don't want to spoil too much for anyone who hasn't seen the musical because it's very different to how I believed everything had happened when I went in not knowing what had happened. So there's a lot of kind of, I don't know, context clues that you need to watch to find out. And then part two follows obviously exactly where we leave off and all the way through to past the when the Wizard of Oz ends.
Hmm.
So
Wow.
that's just kind of how it fits in with that timeline.
So it's sort of like
So sort
a
of
the
like a
story is sort of like a villain origin story, which was
yeah,
sort of known to get more recently, with like Joker and Cruella and films like
exactly,
that. So I guess
exactly.
it's sort of in the mold of those. If that.
Kind of rewriting the narrative that we already know. Um, yeah. And I mean, the cast is really great. You've got, obviously, I mean, everyone knows who the cast are. You've got Ariana Grande, you've got Cynthia Erivo, you've got Jonathan Bailey, who you'll know from Bridgerton, and then kind of anyone who's seen Crashing, brilliant show. Also a Phoebe Waller-Bridge show. If you get
Oh,
the chance to catch it,
I need to.
do. Um, It's got, for a little bit of a cameo, Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel, who played Glinda and
Oh,
Elphaba
Hmm.
on the first Broadway adaptation of Wicked. And they have a little cameo with Ariana and Cynthia, which
oh,
was so sweet on screen. I loved it. I cried. That was the first time I cried.
yeah. But the first time.
Yeah, I cried a few times.
Oh God.
Oh,
Is it like a weepy kind of? I mean, I've seen the musical, but I'm like the stage musical
Yeah.
on the West End. But I was just wondering, like, is this film kind of like a one where you want to bring your tissues? Is it that kind of film, or is it?
Yeah, it's more tears of kind of happiness and emotion than kind of really, really sad tears.
yeah,
I
Mhm.
just got kind of overwhelmed, which is interesting for someone who hasn't seen it and
yeah.
didn't really know what was going on. A lot of it, I don't know if it's pairing of the music and the visuals, but a lot of it like brought me
Yeah.
to tears because it was so like emotionally charged.
I suppose it's like it's a story about a very like two complete opposites becoming like sisters, I guess, and like the
Mhm.
sisterhood that comes with it. And the music, like the music sets me off, like even if I'm like to anything, it can set me off if I'm listening to it. But to have it paired with that kind of performance and that story, like I can imagine there's mo many, many like touching moments.
Incredible vocalists as well.
Yeah.
You kind
Mm.
of, it's so overwhelming. Cynthia's voice is in
Mm,
incredible, and you don't really realize it until near the end when she's hitting these, obviously that incredible note in Defying Gravity.
mhm.
You just kind of get really like proud. It's a weird feeling. And Ariana Grande obviously is a brilliant vocalist. And
Mm.
Jonathan Bailey surprised me actually. I didn't realize he was that good at singing, but he has a couple of songs and they're really good as well.
And I think it's true that the vocals are most of them are actually recorded live when they shot the scenes as well. And I just heard recently I was listening to an interview with the director, John, I think it's John Shu is his name. And he said about how since yeah, Cynthia Erivo did Defying Gravity uh like live. She recorded it live while on a harness. Like so
Mhm.
for obviously, she's flying around. I don't think that's really a spoiler that in the Defying Gravity song she flies around. Like, which is pretty crazy because like most actors don't like doing scenes or like talking while they're on
Mhm.
a harness, but she was singing. So I was just wondering, that doesn't impact the vocals at all. They're still really good.
Yeah, absolutely not. It's insane. Yeah, I was really just having the time of my life in that theater.
Oh, it's making me so excited. Like even from seeing footage of her like flying around on this harness and singing.
Mm.
It's
Mm,
just to have that amount of like what's the word? Like to have the stamina and the muscle and to be able to like hold those notes while in a harness and do it like
mm,
multiple times over and over is just mind blowing. It is. It's like it's a sport, like it's athletic
Oh yeah.
and
Oh,
it's like
definitely.
it's just mind blowing. I know so John the director also directed In the Heights and Now You See Me and Step Up 3 and like I liked all those films, like the Step Up franchise. I probably watched a little bit too young, but like the how they kind of choreographed the dancing and the music in that and weave that in with the story. It's just yeah, very exciting.
I was gonna say they're all even like Now You See Me as well. They're all
Hmm.
very theatrical pieces. They're
Yeah.
very like big and out there and maximalist.
Mm.
And it makes for like a really exciting piece.
mm. And it's also they kind of tell from what I heard is what I was listening to again the same interview with him, and he talked about like his process for like doing those sort of big set pieces and dances, and obviously it was a lot of like kind of in terms of the set, a lot of things going on, but in terms as well in terms of the dancing, like apparently with the choreographers, like he came up with movements
Mhm.
and kind of dances even without the music. They just like so that kind of this is what the Munchkins are like, and like how they move and how they dance, even like divorced from the specific songs. So you can see like how they've like thought a lot about the character and like the place of Oz within the music, and it's not just like, oh, here's a dance that goes to a bit of music. It's actually like storytelling through dance
Mm.
and yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but that's something that the show does really well on the West End. Although it's been many years since I've seen it, so maybe it's different now. Probably is, but I just hoping that is something. Hearing that's something that is carried through in the film.
Mm.
Yeah, and I think there are some instances that I don't want to spoil, but you have these little foreshadowing moments to part two that are reflected in pretty much everyone's characterization. And it's really fun to catch those little Easter eggs. There's also some really great Easter eggs with kind of the costuming, and again, foreshadowing in terms of spoilers that I don't want to spoil. Um, but if you look out for those, if you know what the storyline is, um, look out for a certain character's socks and shoes and some of the coloring in certain characters' costumes. Just a
Mm.
little wink wink there.
Okay, I'll have to yeah be on the lookout then. That'll be
Mhm.
interesting. I mean, it
Mm.
is because like because you're making me think of like all the costume and the set and everything. I mean, that is something that has seemed really impressive from the outset. So obviously, like naturally, the dancing, the music's going to be like really crazy and everything. But from like as a film, from like a filmic point of view, like is it impressive? Is it like an impressive film? Because everything it just seems like the sense of scale of like Oz
Mm.
and building Oz seems like
Yeah.
something that would be really focal to this film.
I mean, from the very beginning, you've got um I think the second scene, you've got this like brilliant pan around of Oz, and it's this big world building shot, and it really like sets the scene for how big the visuals are going to be. I do have a couple of qualms with it. I
Mhm.
feel like there's a couple of musical scenes in particular that weren't shot in the correct way. I feel like they were kind of shot in terms of how like a focus on particular characters rather than a focus on like the entire ensemble, which I didn't really like because obviously you've got to be to create the impact of a musical number, you need to be
Mm.
incorporating the ensemble as well.
Mm.
But that was kind of really it. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the color grading as well and
Mm.
how people don't really like how dull it looks. Um, there's about 30 seconds in the middle where the color grading changes and you get kind of the vibrant pinks that I was
Hmm.
expecting for about 30 seconds, and then it goes back to being kind of more dull. It didn't really affect it that much, but it would have been nice for it to kind of reflect the same brilliant Technicolor that the Wizard of Oz has. I feel like that would have been
It,
a
is there a
nice thing.
reason we're getting that more dull sort of color palette? Like, is it because obviously it's a slightly more adult
It's
story in a
darker,
way?
yeah.
Is that like what it's trying to reflect, do you think? Or
I definitely. I mean, you've got some really, really dark scenes in there in terms of narrative, and yes, but also I feel like even the scenes that were happy and light were still dulled down. And I feel like I don't know, it didn't really sit that right with me. I
hmm.
don't know if there's another reason for why they did that. I'm not sure. I just think there's a lot of growth of movies these days that need to have that dull color palette because I don't know, it's just what Hollywood is going towards now.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think there can be sort of a fear of like being too expressive or being like too over the top now, which seems a bit silly when it is Wicked and you're in Oz, but
Hmm.
Yeah.
I suppose they wanted to make it feel grounded at the same time, right? But
I mean, you've got talking animals, so really, how grounded can you get?
Yeah, I see your point.
oh um another thing that I saw like some people have a problem with is, and something I was wondering myself as someone who has like seen the original stage show, is the runtime. It's obviously quite
Mm.
long. It's like
Mm.
2 hours. It's like 2 hours
40, I
40.
think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Which is that's roughly the length of. I think it's maybe slightly longer. The stage show is roughly that length, including its interval, and
Hmm.
it
Uh-huh.
tells the
And
whole
yeah.
story. So I was just wondering, like, did you feel, and I've talked to my sister a little bit, who's also a really big fan of the original musical, and she's seen the film and she didn't find this to be a problem. But I was just wondering, did you feel like the length was fine? And did you feel like it didn't feel like it wasn't too long between songs or anything like that?
No, definitely not. If anything, it was too many songs. I love a
Ah,
musical, but not in terms of what the songs were,
yeah,
just in terms of like, I was like, please can I have a break? Please.
Really?
that's
Wow.
interesting.
That's
Because
just a me thing. That's not a
Oh
yeah,
no,
that's
no,
just a
yeah,
me thing.
yeah.
because it isn't just because the original stage show, it's like it is a lot more like it's kind of like 5 minutes song, 5 minutes song. You know what I mean? Like that's the way it goes in the stage
Mm.
show. So and just necessarily it kind of with this runtime and it only being half the story, it needed to not be that. So I
Okay.
guess it's like you're getting it in two parts, but it's by the sounds of it, maybe making it like a little bit more um like passable for like the average audience who's not like a musical theater head who just
Yeah, yeah.
thinks that everything can be told through song.
Mm.
I think it's a perfectly acceptable runtime. Was I was like really surprised when it was coming to an end because it didn't feel like it had been as long as it had. And I wasn't bored at all. I didn't like find that they were dragging anything out. I think it's interesting that that's like the complete runtime of the musical because it didn't feel like anything was kind of unnecessarily added either.
Mm.
Because there are a few characters who or actors who don't seem who from my experience aren't like traditionally like musical actors like Jeff Goldblum is obviously the Wizard
Yeah.
of Oz. You've
Yeah.
got Michelle Yeoh, Peter Dinklage. I
Mm.
mean, Peter Dinklage has done some musical stuff before, but I was just wondering like how do those obviously they're like three of the biggest names arguably in it. Like how did they kind of factor in? They included in the musical numbers, or do we actually get a lot of them in sort of pure like dramatic scenes?
Yeah, it's mostly them in pure dramatic scenes. I'm trying to think if Michelle Yeoh gets a song. I don't think she has one. If she does, it's very short, but they do really, really well as the drama as like the main kind of dramatic actors in this. Like it's very clear that they were they were a brilliant uh casting.
And actually, on casting as well, going to like back to our two leads with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. Like, obviously, there's been a lot that's been made of like their relationship on the press tour and everything, and about how like almost comically like close they
Mm.
are. I was just wondering, like, obviously, this film relies a lot, and obviously the original stage play as well, relies a lot on like the relationship between the two characters. Of like you said, you have to believe they're friends, but also believe that they're opposites, and kind of believe, yeah, how their relationship sort of ebbs and flows. Like, how do they work on screen together? And is Ariana Grande, who's obviously a pop singer,
Mm.
or has been for the last like 10 years or so, obviously she acted in things before. How are they together? Have they got a good kind of screen chemistry?
I think everyone in this film has good on-screen chemistry. They're like there's no one that kind of stands out as not fitting in. Yeah, they really do. I mean, I wouldn't think it to the extent of what's happening on the press tours because I don't know what's happening on the press tours. I feel like right. I feel like my um my opinion is it doesn't kind of live up to the massive as good as it is, it doesn't live up to the massive hype of what they've done for the marketing. And I
Mm.
feel like it's kind of let them down a little bit because of that,
Yeah.
because of how much it's been overdone.
So do you think people should scale back their expectations a little bit, or
Yes, it like I don't know if you're purely going to see it because of like how interested you are to see like I don't know if it's as good as they're making it out to be, you're going to be disappointed. Um, so yeah, maybe scale back what you're hearing. Oh yeah, you said about Ariana being like a pop singer because obviously she's like been talking about playing Glinda for like decades
Yeah.
now.
mm.
And she's always been obviously like a theater actor. She did 13 on I think it might have been off Broadway.
I mean, she's obviously has been acting. She act, like in like Nickelodeon shows and
Yeah.
things like that, which she did sing. Her character would sing like in universe and things. It's not like she's like this is totally random and you've just. It's not like an Elvis movie where they just shoved Elvis in a
Yeah.
movie like they used to do in the 60s. It's a bit
Yeah.
different than that. But
Yeah, and I mean it doesn't really come across that she is like predominantly pop in this because like her voice fits musical theater so well
mm.
and she's kind of singing opera in some of it. I mean, I thought I might need subtitles at one point because I couldn't understand her because that's how well she was singing opera. So,
Oh
Yeah, I can
God.
believe that.
yeah.
Well, the Saffron Screen audience will probably quite like that. I mean, if it's
Yeah.
opera.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I feel like they've done a really good job of bringing a lot of groups of people together. So you've got like in terms of the audience watching it. So you've got the Wicked stage musical fans,
Mm.
you've got the Wicked book fans, you've got the Cynthia fans, you've got the Ariana fans, you've got musical theatre fans, you've got
Mm.
the gays basically. Basically,
Exactly.
and it's all of these different people are just like looking for different things, and they've just done a really
Mm.
good job of weaving it all together. And from what I've seen and what I've heard, everyone is just loving it. Um,
Mm.
I've obviously heard like different things that people are concerned about, like some people are concerned about the runtime, or some people are concerned that some things didn't work or what they're going to do next. But there hasn't been like a major thing that people have been like, no, this did not work, or
Yeah.
like it was terrible, or this scene didn't work, or this song didn't work.
Yeah. And actually, on the kind of idea of like all the different audiences it brings together and like kind of inclusion in that sense.
Hmm.
Obviously like Wicked is based on literally probably the most popular and established IP maybe ever in The Wizard of Oz. That is literally the most seen movie
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Like, and obviously that's a lot of kids watch that up. Kids still watch The Wizard of Oz now.
Yeah.
Is this a film that you think you can bring like a small child to who may be a really big fan of The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's rated PG, And I think it reflects that. Like some of there are like some scary parts, but I don't think it's any scarier than The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of
Mm.
Oz is like quite scary.
Yeah.
Um, and like I feel like part two might be a little bit scarier, but a this is just family friendly. It's really great. And I do think it's suitable for young children. I mean, bring your kids along, and if you fancy seeing it at Saffron Screen, we've got it on 10 times. Friday the 6th of December at 7 o'clock, Saturday the 7th of December, both at 2 and 7, Sunday the 8th, both at 2 and 7, Monday the 9th at 7 o'clock, Friday the 13th at 7 o'clock, Sunday the 15th at 7 o'clock, Saturday the 28th at 2 o'clock, and Tuesday the 31st at 2 o'clock as well.
Very exciting. And yeah, the marketing on that is like a whole different universe. It's done the job of getting in your brain, so like you cannot
Mm.
forget that Wicked is
Yeah,
out
it's the
now.
only thing anyone is talking about right now.
Yeah.
I feel like it's
Yeah.
kind of like a very Barbie-esque in its marketing
Oh
campaign,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
feel like. As well as like can sell it on green, like Barbie was pink, this is
Yeah.
green. So
So it's kind of along the same lines of like music. And it's not I'm gonna be honest, it's not in December. It's very early January, but because of the podcast and the overlap, I'm going to talk about Better Man, which is the first time I heard about it, I was like, what is this? This needs to not happen. Like, this is going to be ridiculous. It's not going to work. I'm really angry about this. But now I've like kind of processed it a little bit. So, okay. It basically I didn't know how to sum it up. So IMDb basically says a singular profile of British pop superstar Robbie Williams. So it's essentially Rocket Man, but about Robbie Williams. But the catch
mhm.
is that Robbie Williams in the story is a CGI monkey. So and it's kind of one of those things like you hear about it and no pun intended, there's the elephant in the room of like, why
Mm,
is there a monkey playing Robbie Williams?
Mm.
Um, and that's what grinded me the wrong way for so long. And now I've thought about it, I'm like, okay, it kind of does make sense, and it's actually really, really cool. And I think
Mm.
it's gonna work. But there was like the first like really, I don't know, it just made me so angry. I don't know why.
that is fair enough.
It was just bizarre.
Yeah.
Directed by Michael Gracie, who has also directed The Greatest Showman, he produced Rocket Man. He's done a lot of work with music artists, so he's worked with Pink for like a project. He directed Pink, All I Know So Far. He's got an exceptional background in kind of video effects and music production, and I just feel like that really it works for this film, because he knows he's got that experience, he's got those skills, and I know I haven't seen it, but I just feel like he is the person to be able to pull it off.
Mm. So I've got kind of like a fun anecdote when you talk about Michael Gracie,
Mm.
because it's not mine, it's someone it's so my brother and my mum. So my family, like, we're all really big Robbie Williams fans. So we're
Mm.
pretty excited for this movie and very, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, intrigued to see how it all goes with the monkey and everything.
Yeah.
But my mum and my brother went and saw Robbie Williams in concert.
Mm.
And it was actually, I believe it's one of the concerts that they is featured in the film they recorded.
Which concert
And
is this?
I can't remember
Was
what
it
it
like in the
was.
last few years?
Yeah, in the last few years. And Michael Gracie like was sat like not far from where my parents, well, from when my mum and my brother were. And like he's really recognizable because he always walks around with like the beanie and
Yeah.
everything. And my mum was like, "Oh, is he like someone famous? I think he's, like some." And yeah, he's obviously the director of the film and director of Greatest Showman, like you said. So
Was
there you go.
Wow.
It's a pretty cool connection there.
was the show at Wembley?
It might have been.
Oh God.
I don't know.
I was
Why
possibly there.
you were there as well, you think?
So basically, I have like this is why I chose this film. I have a really weird relationship with Robbie Williams and his music because my mum was an absolutely like insane huge fan. So I kind of like grew up listening to Robbie Williams, not actually necessarily enjoying Robbie Williams,
Mm,
me. Nothing against him or the music. But then now I have this like weird like relationship with the music because it's like nostalgic to me. So that's why I
Mm.
kind of like want to see it and I'm really interested. This is going to be really interesting. Okay. I'm excited now. I need to know all these juicy details. Like it's going to be for Robbie Williams fans and it's gonna like I think it's going to bring a lot of people in that are just so unsure. And I think there's going to be like a turning point where they're like, actually, yeah, this really works, or this isn't quite for me. Um,
I mean, it's a more fun way of doing a biopic instead of just going like,
yeah,
all right, yeah, this is when he was born, and oh, his struggles growing up, and when he becomes a pop star. Like doing something
exactly. Yeah.
creative with it's far more like it draws a lot of comparisons with is it Brick by Brick, I think it's called, which is the
Oh,
biopic about Pharrell Williams, which is all done
yes.
in Lego
Yeah.
animation, which is again, it's like doesn't really make sense for you to do a
Yeah.
Pharrell Williams biopic of all things in
Yeah.
Lego. It is a bit of a bizarre idea. But
Hmm.
like it's a way more interesting. Like we get biopics all the time. Like you say, we get Rocket
Yeah.
Man, Bohemian
Yeah.
Rhapsody.
Yeah.
We had Back to Black. Like we had all our famous pop stars. Like we basically have
Hmm.
biopics about them, which are all pretty similar. And so I feel like you might go, this is a really bizarre decision to make him an ape in this thing. But like,
Hmm.
you have to admit, like, this has got your interest in it than more than just
Exactly.
a generic Robbie Williams biopic would.
Yeah. And it's got like it's got on the surface like it is an interesting like innovative it is that the word innovative
Yeah,
yeah
yeah.
that word.
innovative, very good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try and say it again, but it's got a good take to it in terms of like it's something different. But then like when you peel back the layers and like the fans will know this because like he has like um I was watching so there was an interview with Robbie Williams and Michael and I literally it was like the first question. Um I think Michael was like why a monkey? Or someone said why a monkey? And then Robbie was like, well, it was like when I was performing, it was as if I was being dragged up on stage and to perform like a monkey, like for the masses. Um,
Yeah.
and he's always had the issues growing up and through fame with like self-destructive behaviors and struggles and
Hmm.
all of these issues. And it's how he views himself. Like he feels like an outsider. Feels like he's being made to do these things, and like, yeah, it's got very different like multiple layers and it's so interesting to think about and like I love thinking about the music industry even all the bad stuff because it is so interesting to me
Mm,
and I think this is it's just great that it's something different and it's something meaningful to him and
yeah.
others I think
Well, exactly. It's like it's not just like, oh, he's a chimpanzee for the sake of
yeah
it, for like just to catch
Hmm.
exactly
headlines, although it is doing that. It's like
yeah
it's got something personal to, yeah, the person who's actually the biopic is about.
yeah
Like it's got like poetic meaning to it. And we should
hmm
mention it is still when he's older, it's still Robbie Williams doing the voice of
yes
him.
yeah
So this wasn't a way for him to just shrimp out of the role or something, because
no
it is
yeah
still him, is still his voice in there. But
yeah
I was just gonna say that it feels like such a risk for them to do this.
mm.
Um, Obviously because of um how people like I don't know, like how people might view it as kind of just a cheap like comedic effort.
Mm.
Um, but like under the surface it is actually like a genius
Yeah
um filmmaking tool.
yeah
So I'm really excited to see what they do with it in terms of kind of like the subtext of
mm.
how he feels about um like like how he feels about the chimpanzee um
mm.
kind of
Yeah.
narrative. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like
Yeah.
how they're gonna put in little subtle things that kind of relate to him and how
Yeah.
he felt at that time.
Yeah. And I think like
Mm.
the first thing, one of the first things that I thought was, how am I going to watch this and like take it seriously?
Mm.
Um, but actually watching the trailer, within like you get past the initial like, oh, that's a monkey. Like, oh, it's clearly like it's fake. Once you get past that, and you very quickly do, I kind of forgot that it was even like not a real person. And it was really interesting for that flip to happen, that switch. And then I was
Mm.
just watching it as if it was like another being, and it wasn't about the looks, it was about story.
Yeah.
Because I think that was one of my worries, is like it's just so silly, like on the
Yeah.
Mm.
surface. But yeah.
But I mean, if you think you can't be affected by like CGI talking animals, then you haven't watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because that
Oh,
film made everybody
Uh,
cry for those CGI talking animals. So I mean, yeah.
it's actually really good. Like it's obviously fake, but when you're watching it, like it's decent work. It's like whoever, like the team behind the actual animation or the visual effects is
Mm.
incredible, because it just looks
Yeah.
so fluid and natural.
It is motion captured. Like there is an
Mm.
actor doing all the moves. So there is someone Robbie Williams is doing the voice,
Yes,
obviously.
yeah, yeah.
But I think it's another actor, John O'Davis
Mm.
or Davies, who's doing the motion capture. So like again, there is a performance that's being had there. You're not
Yeah,
watching
sure.
a cartoon, just a cartoon,
No,
if that
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it's made a massive difference to like the facial expressions as well, and just the short clips that I've seen. Um, and even like when like the clips that you see of him performing on stage, just like his mannerisms and the way he moves, and it's just it's I don't want to say perfect because I haven't seen it, but it's like it's
Mm.
close. And it's just it feels so natural. Um, yeah. And d
Yeah.
did you, as your family of fans, did you like when I first heard about it, my first thought was, oh, he's got a song called Me and My Monkey.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. That
Okay.
surely got to feature as like that's what I thought is the
Right?
decision about that.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. But then obviously he sort of explained it in quite a different way.
Yeah.
But I'd be really interested to see if that song does feature. I don't know if it does, but you feel like
Yeah.
it should. It's a great
I feel
song
like
as
it
well.
should.
At least
Yeah.
in my opinion. I love that song.
I just I started watching the trailer and I was like, I still had low hopes. Like I really didn't want to like it, but I did. Um, but the trailer was like it was so moving already, because it's done in such a beautiful way, and then it's got I think it was angels over top of the trailer.
Mm.
And first of all, that song anyway is emotional, and it's beautiful and slow, and it's got a very cinematic feel with this without the trailer anyway, but with the trailer and the story, it's just kind of it feels right. Um
Yeah.
yeah.
And I
Uh
think he recorded new versions of those songs for the
yeah.
film, so they fit more. So it's not just like, oh, they're putting in a track. I think it is
No,
he
yeah.
re-recorded the vocals for those songs, like so that
Mm,
they fit more with the kind of tone of the film. So
yeah.
again, it's like
Mm.
it's not just like a lazy thing of,
Oh yeah, no.
oh, here, let's just put on Robbie Williams' greatest hits. Like
Yeah.
it is kind of like, which I think he could do easily. Like
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and it's also nice because it is him still, right? Because
Yeah.
with like stuff like
Mm.
Rocket Man or whatever, you had to have Taron Egerton
Mm,
doing Elton John is obviously not the singer that Elton John is, whereas Robbie Williams is the singer that Robbie Williams is. So it's
yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
it's kind of a good thing about this film.
Yeah. And I do like the entire concept of this film. It's entertainment, right? And Robbie Williams is like the king of
Mhm.
entertainment.
Yeah.
Like there's no
Well, Let Me Entertain You. It's like one of his most famous songs.
exactly, yeah. So I think it's very fitting if anyone was going to do it this way, it just feels right. And I keep saying that, but it just feels natural that it's Robbie Williams, and it's these people, and it's got there's a couple of other actors in that people will recognize. So it's got Alison Steadman, it's got Kate Mulvaney and Steve Pemberton. So I believe Alison and Steve are possibly his parents.
Yes, I'm pretty sure they
Um,
are.
yeah,
Are
and
they both monkeys as well?
no, they're real
No.
Okay.
people,
All right.
which is what like it I took a
That's
second for me to
that's
realize who
good.
they were. So it's not actually out yet. It's due to come out on Christmas Day, um, in the UK, or it's going to be in select cinemas around that time, and then it's going to, I think, officially come out on the 17th. I couldn't quite make out the dates. It's going to be out soon. I just find this so interesting that
Mm.
that your whole family are really big fans. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
oh yeah, like literally like Robbie Williams was like the sound of like car trips growing up. Like that is just like
Oh
what was
yeah,
on all the time.
yeah,
So like yeah, especially stuff like heavy entertainment shows, especially like that album I know really well. That was on
yeah.
all the time that came out. So yeah, very Robbie Williams is very familiar. My mum is like,
Wow.
we've got to organize, get the whole family together to like go out and see this. So from experience.
Oh yes. That's gonna be great though that you can experience that with all those memories as well. And I
Yeah.
think it is like you can go with like if you've got friends that that were fans as well, you can go with them, or you can
Mm.
like I will
Well, that's
probably do and Emily do. Well, I do all the time, go to cinema
That's
alone.
the thing. And like you've said as well, it's
Right.
like music like with you know how like your family relates to Robbie Williams and everything. Like
Mm,
music just like because it's there all the time. It like
yeah,
just touches so many people's lives. So it's
yeah,
like there's no wonder that films like this are always so successful and like
yeah,
always mean a lot to people. So
yeah. Yeah, there's so many
yeah.
different sides to it because obviously there's the live version of it, but then there's also the the studio version of it. And like I always I can't remember who said it, someone I listened to. They said like when you're listening to it at home or from like a CD or whatever you're listening to it, the recorded version, you're using that at that point in time to get you through whatever you want it to or to celebrate or whatever. But then when
Mm.
you go and see it live, it's a completely different like meaning. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's going to be the same. Like you're going to go and watch it on the big screen and it's going to create this whole different meaning of the songs and um your experiences and your relationships with those songs separate from those other two like segments. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm weirdly excited, and I hate to admit that. I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. I don't know
I
what's.
don't. There's a lot of people who are like embarrassed to say that they like Robbie Williams. There's a lot of Robbie Williams haters out there. So
Oh yeah, there
don't
is.
My
Yeah,
don't be
dad.
pressured. Don't be pressured by
your
them.
dad.
Oh
Hmm.
We know who won't be going.
yeah.
My mum
Oh
loves Robbie
dear.
Williams and my dad does not.
Oh God.
Oh, the tension.
Civil war in the
I
house.
know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not actually out yet, but it's the critics that have been reviewing on it and speaking about it at the moment have generally been really good. It's got 88% on the tomatometer. Again, not that that means anything, but it's some indication. Um, and quite a few people were saying that it's just it's brilliant in terms of the idea and the concept of it and the way that it's actually put together with the music. Someone from let me have a look. So Kaleem Aftab from Time Out said, even more than The Greatest Showman, director Michael Gracie has created a fun, bombastic, brilliant, choreographed, and totally enthralling film. And yeah, I can completely see that. I feel like that sums up like what I'm expecting it to be. Obviously, there's gonna be really moving moments, but I just feel like it's gonna be brilliant. Someone else, Dan Scully from Scully Vision, love it. I'm unashamed to admit that the final scene in the CGI Monkey Robbie Williams movie musical made me cry. Yeah. Yeah, people are saying it's engaging. There's a couple of people that are a little bit worried about how it's very cliche because it feels like with some biopics you've seen one, you've seen them all. Um
Mm.
and
Mm.
there is that worry that I've got like is it gonna obviously it's not gonna be the same because it's a different concept, but in terms of the story, is it going to be the same? But yeah, I think the standout thing here is the concept and the way it's going to be done and the way that it's going to change your viewing experience of it because of how it's done, if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head
Yeah.
again, but so we've got it on very, very early in January, so the kids won't be even back at school yet, so you can come out for one last celebration before they go back. Or just bring them if it's appropriate and they're of age. Um, so we've got it on Friday the 3rd of January, Saturday the 4th, and Sunday the 5th at 7:30. So I mean, December is packed with a lot of other films, but which we can touch on in a second. But we have another pop-up cinema kind of weekend just before Christmas, literally. Um, so the 21st of December, which is a Saturday, we're so in aid of the mayor's charities, the town council are organising Arthur Christmas, which is going to be at the town hall. All of the proceeds go to the mayor's charities in Wimbledon, which are Mind, West Essex, and the Citizen Advice Bureau. So I think there's plenty. Yeah, there's like half of the tickets left. Half of them have sold. There's plenty of tickets left for that, and that's at 10 in the morning. So it's perfect with the run up to Christmas. Um, and then in the evening we've got Bad Mum's Christmas, which I think is going to go down a treat. We're just basically selling loads of prosecco, loads of mince pies, and it's going to be Kristen Bell, Mila Kunis, and
Catherine Hahn.
it looks really funny. I've seen the a Bad Mums, but I haven't seen a Bad Mums Christmas. Oh,
Oh, damn.
controversial. Yeah.
Gets the Emily endorsement then.
Because obviously you've got this I can't remember who plays their parents, their mums, their three mums. So
Oh,
like it's the mums of the mums and
Hmm.
they're hilarious. They're so funny. I
Cheryl
think
Hines,
I think is it
Susan
Christine
Sarandon.
Baranski?
Yeah, Christine
Yeah.
Baranski.
Yeah. Is it Susan Sarandon, the last one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Susan Sarandon
I say
plays Catherine
Sarandon.
Hahn's mom.
Sunday afternoon, which is the 22nd, is the Polar Express that we're going to do. And we've got loads of exciting things happening. So I'm not going to give everything away because obviously, surprise. But I don't know why I'm telling you about this anyway, because it's sold out. So if you've got tickets, great. If not, I'm sorry, but it's sold out.
Uh, but we do have a few other special things going on that aren't the pop-ups, actually at Saffron Screen itself. So we have a few arts on screen events. So we have the Royal Ballet and Opera Cinderella on Tuesday, the 10th of December at 7:15 p.m. I will note 7:15 p.m. That's a weird start time for us, but that is the start time on that day. We also have Royal Ballet and Opera Nutcracker, and that's on the 17th on Tuesday, again at 7 p.m., which is a bit of a weird start time once again. And then also finally, we have the CBeebies Panto, which is Beauty and the Beast, and that is on Monday, the 30th at 2:30. So it's a daytime event, which should be good for, everyone who wants to join.
So we've also got the highly anticipated Moana 2 showing from the 20th of December. All of our screenings of this are at 2:30, so a good one to bring your kids along to. You've got the 20th and the 21st, the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, all at 2:30, the 29th and the 2nd of January as well. And then we've got Paddington in Peru coming back for a second round, 7th of December at 10:30 a.m., 14th and the 15th of December at 2:30, 27th of December at 2:30, and then New Year's Day at 2:30 as well. And then you've also got Red One, which is playing on Saturday the 14th and I believe Monday the 16th, and those are both at 7:30. So a really good lineup for December. I'm really excited about it.
There's a really like always a weird part between Christmas and New Year. No one knows what to do. No one knows if it's still like fine to watch Christmas films or if it's like onwards and upwards, like roll on summer kind of thing. Um, yeah, but we've got quite a few uh films on. I wouldn't say they're the happiest films, but I think they're very worth seeing.
But they balance with some of the other more kiddie kind of films that
They
Emily was just
do.
talking about. So
They do. And also, people can't get enough of this little bear in a hat
yeah,
and a coat. Like,
I
they just
know.
keep coming. Um, yeah, so we've also got Conclave and Blitz and Juror number two. So those three films are being spoken about quite a lot at the moment. I know quite a few people that have seen Blitz, and
Mm,
a lot of people are saying that it's a must see for everyone, especially the younger kids, not younger kids, but the younger people that it's just such a immersive film that really moves you and really throws you into the middle of it all. So that's got Saoirse
mm.
Ronan in. So Blitz is kind of between Christmas and New Year. It starts on the 27th, 28th first, and the 2nd of January. All at 7:30. And then we've also got Conclave, which a lot of people are talking about, especially with everything that's been happening with the Pope at the moment. A lot of people have been asking when we're going to have it, and I know that there's like the selling for the tickets are doing really well. Like it's picking up again because people it's on people's radars before we even get it, which is great. Um, and that is just before Christmas, so it's the 20th, 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of December, 7:30. The 23rd of December in the evening is subtitled. And then the final one that I'm going to mention is Juror number two, which we didn't know we were going to get it until the very last minute. Um,
Yeah, because
we've only got it
a
on site.
customer did ask me about this film.
Yeah,
So it's another one that we're getting a little bit of tension about before we've even got it. And I had to
yeah.
say like, oh, I don't know if it's gonna be there. And but to that man who asked about Juror number two, it is on.
You
So
better
you'll
come
be
and
able to
see
see
it.
it. Yeah, you better come see it now that it is on.
Well, we got a gist for you. No.
Yeah, yeah. Special request.
Yeah. I think so it's obviously Clint Eastwood. It's people are gonna come just because it's
Mm.
Clint
It's
Eastwood.
his final film. So this is your last chance to
Exactly.
see a Clint Eastwood film in the cinema.
Exactly. And it's got Nicholas Hoult and Tony Collette in, so it's just why wouldn't you, basically? It's got an incredible cast. They're amazing actors. And it's Clint Eastwood and his last one. So that is the 29th and the 30th of December, which is in the evening at 7:30. Yeah, and the next time you'll be hearing from us will be in 2025. Absolutely wild.
I know, crazy. The new beginning, season two of Frame by
Season
Frame.
Season
two.
two. Are we going to be renewed? Who
Oh my
knows?
God.
We
Yeah.
are.
I'll give you a
Spoiler.
spoiler. We're coming
Yeah.
back for a second season.
Buckle up, kids.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see what's in store, what we're gonna change up for like
Mhm.
what it will look like, what the podcast will look like this time
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah. And we need to get those like promos filmed as well.
Oh, yeah.
We could
Yeah.
do a trailer from like the content from this year.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
Best
true.
bits.
Best bits.
Frame by frame
Yeah.
wrapped.
Yeah, so I hope everyone has a an amazing holiday period, however you celebrate. Uh hopefully
Yeah,
we
stay
Saffron
safe.
Green. Sorry.
Stay safe. See you at the cinema.
Stay safe, see you with the cinema. That should be on a t-shirt.
Oh yeah.
Stay safe
Yeah.
with Saffron Screen. Keep calm with Saffron Screen. Oh no. Yeah. Have fun. Toodles.
Thank you so much.
See
Bye
ya.
bye.